And we who are Christians have meaning and purpose in an evolutionary universe. We call this the primacy of Christ. Christ is first. Primacy. Teilhard de Chardin, he got this. He was a Jesuit. I don't know how, but he got it. You know, I'm sure he talked to a Franciscan. He understood that this whole evolutionary process is a Christogenesis. Isn't that a beautiful term? A birthing of Christ. Birthing. This is an active, dynamic, ongoing, creative process. This is not like, oh, ho, hum, gotta go to church again, you know, Jesus has risen from the dead, yay. The whole point, Teilhard said, is to divinize the world. That's what it means to be a Christian. To bring Christ to birth in our lives so that Christ could be at the birth of this whole universe. It's made for Christ, who is the Alpha and the Omega, the one in whom God is all in all. So what Teilhard said is get involved. Don't find your way to heaven apart from earth, but you find your way to heaven through earth. And he called us to be co-creators in Christ. Co-creators, okay? Take morphogenetic field quantum entanglement with co-creation. You have a new formula for Christian life. Now, the other thing about this kit and caboodle is that we can look again at the life of Jesus in a new way as a growth in consciousness. Now, without going too much into consciousness, scholars today are pointing to the fact that with Jesus emerges a new structure of existence, a new experience of what it means to be human in relation to God, with new freedom and responsibility. Christ, as the center of this universe, enters this evolutionary universe, bringing all newness. What's the problem? We're an historical religion, sometimes an hysterical religion, but mostly historical. We're always looking backwards. We treat the whole gospel like an historical text. The whole point of Jesus is forward movement. He is fulfilling the Old Testament. God promises a new heaven and a new earth. Resurrection is about new life. It's all moving forward. And therefore, this Christ event brings a new directionality to evolution. This power of newness comes through the human person in Christ. We have a new center. That's what resurrection's about. The disciples didn't get it, right? You know, Jesus risen from the dead. They're like, did you hear what happened? He's like, yeah, I know. You know, it's a breakthrough. This is what Christian life is, a breakthrough to a new level of consciousness. A breakthrough to a new level of consciousness. I don't want to blame St. Augustine, but I think because we got baptized as little, tykes, we don't have a consciousness that what we are about is newness. We are about new life in a new world. It should all be about emergence. Because that's what it means to be human and to be at the heart of this universe in Christ. So, in light of all this, I want to just say that Christianity is not to be looking backwards. It is not a religion of the past. It is a religion of the future. Jesus is an evolutionary step forward in the development of humankind. But it's an ongoing process symbolized by the Christ event. What does Jesus say to us? The one who believes in me will also do the works I do, and in fact will do greater works than these. Greater works than these. God empowers us in Christ to help this whole evolutionary universe move forward towards a fulfillment in union with God. And how do we do that? Through the pattern that Jesus sets. Jesus, you might say, establishes the morphogenetic field. Compassion, inclusivity, healing, vulnerability, just, merciful, mercy. So we are called to be created co-creators. We are part of this ongoing process, and it demands our commitment. And I want to say, a creative co-creator. What science tells us is this universe continue on for about 100 trillion more years. Trillion, okay? So if you think, oh my God, we're never going to get there, you know. Isn't that how you're like? Oh, well, we set our goals, but we didn't make it. Give it up. It's a dynamic, engaging process. It begins every day with thank you, living in the gift, and giving it all you got. And that's what helps this move forward. And it's a matter of being conscious of what God has called us into and a willingness to be part of it. So, Christianity is a religion of evolution. We don't talk of it in this way. We don't think of it in this way. But if we take Jesus Christ and that Christ event, and we understand it as a dynamic event of new life, new emergent life, it's a new consciousness of life, a new consciousness of God in our world. It is indeed an evolutionary life. So we can say we're on the cusp of an evolutionary breakthrough, but it requires our participation in love as co-creators of this love. I would say this, the Christian is one connected through the heart to the whole of life. That's what we're called to today, to be connected in the heart to the whole of life, attuned to the deeper intelligence of nature, called forth by the Spirit to creatively express our gifts in the evolution of self and world. We are in evolution, whether or not we want to be there or we resist it, we are there. And the question is not, will we or won't we? The question is, how will we engage in a process of life that we are called into? So, first thing is, examine your own morphogenetic fields. What are the patterns you are creating in your life? What are the patterns that you are establishing? Because whatever you do, it's influencing other people. What if we were to have the consciousness that our tendency for violence, unjustness, to lie, to cheat to our neighbor, our family members, our community members, what if we were conscious that those actions are having their effects in Iraq, in Iran, in Afghanistan, in a bus that blows up with 30 children on it? Would we act the same way? So, as Clarissa Este says, struggling souls catch light from other souls who are fully lit and willing to show it. That's what it means to live in an interconnected universe. Struggling souls, we are all struggling, but where will we catch this light? Gospel life requires freedom, and we need to find a new level of freedom today in our lives, because it means to be free in love, to engage in this love at the heart of the universe. And that, again, a consciousness of being in the whole and participating in this whole. We are always becoming part of a greater whole. Whether or not we want to be part of that whole, again, our actions make a difference. You may think no one is looking. You may think no one cares. You may think my life's too small to make a difference. You're wrong. Every single life makes a profound difference in the way this world unfolds. So it means to live in freedom, but also to live at peace with incompleteness and unfinished business. The evolutionary world is an unfinished world. That's the beauty of it. And we're always looking for, wrap it up, didn't work, wrap it up, okay. We have either or. It's either successful or fails. It's good or bad. God is both and. God's, okay, it's eternal and temporal. God and human, divine and human. So we need to shift our thinking.